You know what's intriguing? Almost every woman believes she knows how to kiss a man. But if you ask most men quietly, they'll admit that only a few women ever made them feel something deeper than just a spark. The truth is, men aren't hard to excite. But making a man completely lose control, making him crave you long after you've left, that's another kind of art. And that art starts with understanding 3 secret areas on his body that are wired not just for pleasure, but for emotional surrender. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh, I already know those spots," let me tell you something. You don't, because they're not where you imagine. And once you master them, he'll never forget the way you touched him, no matter how many women come after you. Here's where most women make a mistake. They mix being sexy with being strategic. They think kissing is only about passion and spontaneity, but it's not. It's about rhythm, timing, and connection. The right kiss at the right place with the right feeling behind it can make a man's whole body give in. I used to think kissing was just about chemistry, that magic spark you can't explain. But after years of helping women with relationships, I learned something powerful. Chemistry can be created. You can build it layer by layer through energy, timing, and focus. So today, I want to show you 3 areas that flip both his physical and emotional switches at once. Because when you touch both his body and his ego in the right way, you create a loop in his brain that keeps saying, "I want more of her." Let me ask you this. Have you ever kissed a man and felt him respond but not melt? Like he's into it, but not fully letting go? That's because you were probably kissing him in all the usual spots. His lips, his neck, maybe his chest. And while he enjoys it, his brain isn't surprised. There's no spark of wonder, no signal that says, "This woman is different." Men crave novelty as much as they crave appreciation. What truly makes him lose control isn't just how you kiss, it's where and why. Here's the secret most women never learn. Men have pleasure points linked not only to their erogenous zones, but also to their pride, safety, and ability to surrender. When you find the places that trigger both the physical and the emotional, you stop being just another woman in his life. You become the one who changes how his body reacts to intimacy. And that's what these 3 kissing spots can do. But before I show you where they are, you need to understand the emotional foundation behind it. Most women think men want control. The truth is, the right man wants to trust you enough to lose control. The way to take him there isn't by being dominant. It's by being deeply present. It's in the way your touch tells him you're safe here. You can let go. That's what turns him on beyond logic. That's what makes him obsessed. Because for a man, surrender is the deepest form of vulnerability. And the woman who can guide him to that place becomes unforgettable. I'm not here to give you tricks or shallow tactics. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding his body and mind, the science of touch, and the emotion of connection. When you kiss him in certain places, you activate parts of his nervous system that release dopamine and oxytocin, the same chemicals that make him feel pleasure, trust, and bonding all at once. That's why these 3 areas are so powerful. They don't just feel good, they make him link you to comfort, calm, and joy. And here's what most women don't realize. The kiss that makes him lose his mind doesn't start with your lips, it starts with your intention. When you touch him with curiosity, when you pause just long enough for him to wonder what's next. When your breath brushes his skin but doesn't land yet, you're creating anticipation. And that's what builds real desire. The first few seconds before your lips even touch his are often more powerful than the kiss itself. That moment triggers a mind-body loop of longing that keeps replaying in his head. I'll be honest, I used to get this wrong. I thought passion meant going faster, showing excitement, proving that I wanted him. But men don't remember the woman who rushed. They remember the one who made time slow down, the one who kissed like she was exploring, not performing. because that tells him she's not trying to impress me. She's actually feeling me. And before I share those 3 secret places, hold one thing in your mind. The goal isn't to turn him on, it's to turn him inward. You want to make him feel something so real that he stops thinking and starts feeling. You want to take him into that space where his body and his heart blur together, where desire and emotion become one. If you want to be the woman who lingers in his mind, who stays with him long after the moment ends, stay close, because what comes next will show you exactly where those spots are, how to touch them, and why they affect him in ways most people never imagine. Most women don't realize how powerful the space just behind a man's ear can be. It's small, it's subtle, but it's one of the most sensitive zones on his entire body. The skin there is thin, filled with tiny nerve endings, and lies right above the vagus nerve. The same nerve that calms the body and deepens emotional connection. When you kiss or touch that spot the right way, you're not only giving him pleasure, you're sending him a message, one of focus, safety, and full attention. The reason this place drives him crazy isn't just because it feels good, it's because it builds trust. When you move close to his ear, you're stepping into his most private space, his personal frequency. That's where his body naturally listens for signals of closeness or danger. When your breath brushes against that skin, it tells his nervous system, you're safe, you're connected. That's why he might shiver, pause, or tilt his head slightly. It's his brain processing the rush of pleasure and emotional surrender all at once. Here's how to do it right. Don't rush. Never go straight for it. Approach it like a slow rhythm that builds over time. Start by talking near his ear, not touching yet. Say something soft, maybe something teasing, maybe just his name in a whisper. Let your voice linger there. Let your breath mix with his air. You're not just kissing him, you're tuning into him, and that's what makes the difference between attraction and obsession. The key isn't technique, it's presence. When your attention is fully on him, every move feels intentional. Every breath becomes a language, and once you master that, he won't just remember the kiss. He'll remember how it made him feel seen, safe, and completely undone in your presence. Then let your breath slide along the edge of his jawline. If he leans in, that's your sign he's ready. Move slowly toward the curve behind his ear and stop. Don't rush. Let silence fill the air. That pause is powerful. It's the exact moment his mind shifts from thinking to feeling. Then gently kiss the skin behind his ear. Not the neck, not the earlobe, but that small, soft area just under the curve of bone where his neck meets his skull. Use almost no pressure, only warmth and breath. Hold it for 1 second longer than what feels natural. Then pull away. Don't return right away. Let him chase that feeling in his thoughts. This is what Matthew Hussey calls emotional pacing, the craft of giving just enough to stir desire without drowning it. You're teaching his body to crave your restraint, and when you master that rhythm, he'll connect your presence with anticipation instead of conclusion. That's far more addictive. Men are raised to always be in control. Their world runs on logic, on action. But when a woman brings stillness, calm, intentional stillness, she breaks that pattern. Behind his ear is where you can access that break. It's the spot that shifts him from control to surrender. Every man, even the strongest, secretly wants to feel safe enough to let go. He may never say it, but it's true. When you kiss that place, you're giving him permission to stop performing. You're telling him you don't have to be anything right now, just be. That kind of safety is rare for him. It's something he can't find anywhere else. There's also something primal about that area. Evolutionary studies show it's where humans sense warmth, breath, and pheromones, signals of closeness and trust. When you kiss him there, his body releases oxytocin and dopamine, the same chemical mix that deepens emotional bonding. It's not just sexual excitement, it's biological attachment. That's why, after a slow, lingering kiss behind the ear, most men instinctively pull you closer. It's not only desire, it's his brain trying to merge with the source of that comfort. And here's something most people never think about. How you end that moment matters just as much as how you start it. After kissing him behind the ear, don't step back too fast. Stay near. Let your lips hover by his skin as you exhale slowly. That warm breath tells his subconscious, "I'm still here." Then move away gently, but don't make eye contact yet. Let him find you again. Let him close that distance. When he does, he's no longer thinking ahead. He's thinking about you. What makes this first spot so powerful isn't only the physical pleasure, it's the emotional message it carries. It tells him, "I see the side of you no one else touches," the part that's hidden. And when he feels seen like that, he won't just want you, he'll feel known by you. That's a connection most men never get to experience, and it all starts with something as simple as a single gentle kiss behind the ear. But don't forget the mindset. This isn't about following a trick or a secret move, it's about presence. If your mind is busy thinking, "Okay, now I do step one," you'll lose the moment. The real magic comes from curiosity, listening to his breath, noticing his body shift, feeling what he feels. Follow your intuition, not a script. The truth is, the most unforgettable kiss never looks rehearsed. It feels discovered. And when he senses that you're discovering him, not performing for him, he melts every time. So next time you're close and you feel the urge to go straight for his lips or his neck, pause, wait. Let your lips hover near that secret curve behind his ear. Let the silence stretch. Let the energy build between you. And when you finally touch him there, do it like you're speaking a language only his body understands. That's how you start his unraveling. That's how you make him lose his composure. Most women don't realize how intimate a man's wrist can be. It's a part of his body that's always visible, yet rarely touched with real attention. That's exactly what makes it powerful. The inside of his wrist holds delicate nerve endings that connect straight to the parts of his brain controlling heartbeat and arousal. When you touch or kiss that area, you're literally syncing with his pulse. The rhythm that says you're alive, you're desired, you're seen. And what makes it special is how subtle it is. It's not a bold sexual move. It's quiet, soft, unexpected. But that's what makes it stick in his memory. You're entering his emotional space through gentleness, not seduction. Start simply imagine you're sitting across from him at dinner, his arm resting on the table. You're laughing, teasing, holding his eyes. Then in one small motion, reach for his hand. Don't grip it tightly. Just turn it so his palm faces upward. Run your fingertips over the smooth skin where his wrist meets his hand. That's when you'll feel his pulse flicker. That gentle rhythm under your touch is his body's quiet confession. He's feeling something. Pause. Let your thumb trace lazy circles there as you talk. You're tying your connection to his heartbeat without saying a single word. When you finally lower your lips and kiss that spot slowly, softly, it sends a signal straight through his nervous system. His body reads it as both calm and excitement. It's the same mix of chemicals that happens when adrenaline and oxytocin meet. He feels alert but relaxed, aroused but peaceful. That's the balance that keeps men hooked. They're not only chasing pleasure, they're chasing calm within desire, and you become the source of both. The wrist works because it's unexpected. Every man has felt kisses on his neck or chest, but when you kiss the inside of his wrist, you're saying something else entirely. I notice the details. That kind of attention breaks through his armor. You're not treating him like an act to perform. You're exploring him like a map. And nobody forgets the person who studied them like that. The technique is simple, but it takes patience. Don't rush. Float. Let your lips hover above his wrist until your breath warms the skin. Watch how he reacts. If he stiffens, pause. If he exhales or relaxes, that's your cue. Then kiss him once, soft and deliberate, right on the pulse. Hold it for a few seconds, long enough for your breathing to sync with his. When you pull away, do it slowly, as if you're taking a piece of him he didn't know he'd given. That small absence of warmth makes his brain crave it again. That's how the loop begins. Hussey often says attraction lives in contrast, the dance between closeness and distance. The wrist kiss captures that perfectly. It's the quietest, most powerful push-pull moment you can create using only timing and stillness. After that, don't rush to speak. Just let the silence say everything. Let it linger. Maybe smile like you know something he doesn't because you do. You've just awakened a part of his sensory memory that will replay itself later when he's alone, wondering why he suddenly misses your touch. That isn't manipulation. It's imprinting. His body will remember that softness long after his mind forgets the details. What makes the wrist kiss so powerful is also symbolic. The wrist is where we feel our pulse, where life beats the loudest. When you kiss him there, you're acknowledging his aliveness. You're saying, I feel you, I see you, you're real to me. And for most men, that's magnetic. They rarely get to feel seen beyond their confidence or control. But this kind of tender attention cuts through all that armor. It shows him he doesn't have to perform. He can just exist. Here's a little way to take it deeper. After that kiss, lightly trace the same spot with your fingertip in a small spiral. Don't look at him. Keep talking. Keep laughing. Move on as if nothing happened. That contrast between your calm tone and that intimate act will scramble his thoughts. He won't know if he should breathe or lean closer. That's exactly what you want. A quiet chaos inside him. Because real desire doesn't shout. It hums softly under the surface. And when you learn how to play with that subtle hum, you control the rhythm of every interaction. Remember, this isn't about power. It's about being fully present. When your energy says, I'm here with you, his walls fall away. When your touch says, I see you, his heart opens. The kiss on the wrist is the smallest act with the loudest meaning. It declares, I select you in this instant. And that is the very thing every man privately yearns for. Therefore, the next occasion you are near enough to reach for his hand, avoid the predictable. Permit your fingertips to wander to the underside of his wrist. Sense the rhythm of his pulse beating just under the surface of his skin. Press your lips to it as though it is a confidential whisper you will forever keep. Then withdraw merely a fraction and observe as the entirety of his form inclines in your direction before his conscious mind even comprehends the movement. This is the silent authority of nuance. This is the manner in which you commence making him unravel his composure, one singular heartbeat after another. There exists a zone on a man's physique to which almost no one pays any mind, yet it contains profound feeling and exposure. The slight hollow of his lower back where the vertebral column bends just before it meets the hips. That particular area holds command, strain, and power. All the attributes men are instructed to uphold each day. Thus, when you caress or kiss him in that location, you are not merely providing enjoyment, you are bestowing liberation. It transcends the physical realm. It is profoundly emotional. The lumbar region resides precisely at the juncture between shielding and yielding. Biologically, it accumulates tension. On an emotional level, it conceals tenderness. The moment your palm or your mouth contacts that specific place, it circumvents all reason and communicates directly with the component of his being that desires to relax, to have faith, to feel he belongs. The majority of women glide over it during an embrace, never comprehending the immense potency concealed within. Yet when you dwell there with deliberate intent, the entire dynamic shifts. Envision this scene. He is standing before you, perhaps within the kitchen, perhaps stretching upward for an object on a high shelf. You move near enough that the line of your body comes into alignment with his. You settle your palm upon that gentle curve found at the very base of his spine, not applying pressure, simply placing it there. It represents a bond, not a command. That minor, deliberate motion communicates to him that you stand with him, not to test his fortitude, but to provide a steadying support for it. Then allow your fingers to glide with deliberate slowness, tracing minute, lazy circles across that pliant line of musculature. Witness the way he releases a breath without even being aware of doing so. That is the signal of his physical self starting to relinquish its grip. Now, should you wish to venture further, lean your body forward and permit your lips to almost, but not quite, make contact with the precise spot situated just above the line of his waistband, directly in the center. Do not kiss with the primary aim of stimulation. Kiss with the intent to soothe. The contradiction inherent in this act is what generates the charge. His intellect will struggle to categorize the sensation. It is not purely sensual, nor is it purely comforting. That state of delightful bewilderment ignites his entire nervous system, and it is this very reaction that fabricates a deep longing. His physical form will begin desiring more, striving to interpret the significance of what has just transpired. The small of the back is also deeply emblematic. It is the place where, historically, a warrior would bear his fragility unseen by the world. When you choose to kiss him there, you are stating without uttering a single syllable, "You have no need to shield yourself from me." That particular sentiment strikes with more profound force than any playful remark ever could. This is not an act of domination, it is an offering of security. And the moment a man experiences sufficient safety to let himself surrender, that is the precise instant he genuinely begins to lose his rational mind. However, the element of timing carries great significance. One must never initiate contact with that specific spot. It is far too intimate, far too disclosing. Reserve it for when the atmosphere between you is already saturated with mutual confidence and palpable anticipation. For when the pace of his breathing has decelerated and his defensive barriers have dissolved, the kiss upon the lower back functions like a crucial mark of punctuation. It provides the perfect concluding mark to the sentence of your closeness. It tells him wordlessly that he is home. This is the recommended cadence. First, rest your hand upon the place. Allow your fingers to broaden their stance slightly. Gently trace the pathway of his spine in a downward motion, halting just above the band of his trousers. Introduce a pause. Let him become aware of the warmth of your breath before your lips ever meet his skin. That calculated hesitation is the very mechanism that constructs magnetic attraction. Then kiss him once, with unhurried deliberation and genuine warmth. Sustain the contact for the duration of a single heartbeat. Then separate. Do not speak a word. Allow the quiet to convey meaning on your behalf. Maintain the position of your hand there, even after you have drawn your face back. Let your fingers remain in light, resting contact. Simply breathe in unison with him. You are synchronizing your very nervous systems, conversing through the medium of touch rather than speech. That is intimacy operating on the most fundamental, primal tier. When you ultimately decide to move away, execute the action with languid slowness. Perhaps amble past him. Perhaps offer a subtle smile cast over your shoulder. Leave him suspended within that unique space situated between arousal and profound calm. That particular fusion of sensations is powerfully habit-forming. A great many women fail to appreciate the depth of the male craving for this specific experience. The external world consistently instructs them to perpetually project toughness, to never permit their guard to descend. But in the deepest, most hidden interior, what they desire above all else is the freedom to cease performing. Your touch upon his lower back transforms into that very authorization. It states, silently, that you may rest here. And once he has tasted that specific brand of peace in your presence, he will pursue its sensation repeatedly, because genuine peace is a far scarcer commodity than fleeting passion. And it is that very peace which possesses the alchemical power to transform raw passion into lasting devotion. The perspective offered is that authentic attraction is not a demonstration of worthiness. It is a presentation of complete presence. The kiss placed upon the lower back is that very presence manifested in its most unadulterated form. It communicates, I perceive the authentic man who exists beneath the protective armor. And that specific recognition is the catalyst that renders you permanently memorable within his mind. Therefore, the next time you find yourselves in close proximity, following a shared laugh, or in the wake of a comfortable silence, permit your hand to discover that particular place. Do not frame it as a tactical maneuver. Frame it as a profound communication. Touch him there as if you are transmitting a silent message to his physical form, informing it that it can finally release its tension. Kiss him as though you are confirming a pact of trust, not asserting a claim of territory. Then withdraw a fraction of a moment before he anticipates your departure. That is the methodology for causing him to pursue the lingering memory, rather than merely the transient instant. That is the process for constructing a form of desire which persists long after the environment has darkened. It does not diminish. It intensifies within the quiet that follows. For the truest form of connection is not measured by the temperature of the heat generated. It is measured by the depth of the safety you provide within which that heat can exist and flourish. Think of it as a journey you're guiding him through, not a checklist. You begin with the whisper behind the ear, the spark of attention that says, I see the hidden you. You then move to the wrist, the quiet, grounding pulse that says, I feel your life, your rhythm. And you culminate at the small of his back, the deep, anchoring surrender that says, you are safe to let go here. This progression mirrors the emotional arc you want to create, from intrigue to connection to release. The most important element is the space between the touches, the pause after your lips leave his skin, the moment he breathes in and searches for you again. This is where the real artistry lives. It's in the silent conversation your presence conducts with his nervous system. When you master this rhythm, giving, pausing, pulling back, returning, you're not just creating a physical experience. You're composing a memory his body will crave to replay. Remember, the goal was never just to arouse him. It was to turn him inward, to make him feel so profoundly met and disarmed that his defenses dissolve and what's left is raw, real connection. When you touch these three places with intention, with presence, and with genuine curiosity, you cease to be just another person he's kissed. You become the sanctuary he didn't know he was searching for, and a man will cross oceans, not for pleasure, but for the peace of finally feeling at home. That is your ultimate power. Use it wisely and with heart. Remember to like and subscribe.